Hello and welcome to episode number 5 of the second series of the midierror Meets podcast in association with Sonic State. On the show this time we have, for my money, one of the greatest IDM artists ever. Roel Funcken. He's a Dutch producer. He makes incredible IDM music and for many years released music with his brother Don as Funckarma. Around 2010 he started releasing his own material as Roel Funcken, and he's got a phenomenal back catalogue which you can check out. He's played alongside Autechre, he's played alongside Aphex Twin, all those amazing IDM people. But as well as the frenetic, crazy, chopped up beats, he also makes really beautiful ambient music. In addition to all that, he's an incredible artist, and we talk about the correlation between his art and his music during the discussion. In my opinion, there is no one else out there like this guy. Let's get into the interview. The first thing that I asked Roel was about his thoughts on Amsterdam.
Near Amsterdam, in my opinion, but it's also maybe because I'm missing out on everything, it's mainly house music. It's a lot of house music, and I'm not a fan of house music in general. I'm not a fan of everything with the kick on the count. I've always had this feeling there is some good shit out there that sticks to that formula, but it's like it's a very small percentage. I think most of it is, in my opinion, it's boring. It's generic. There's quite some good artists actually in the Netherlands, but I think nowadays they're everywhere. You know, in every country there's some good music going on.
Yeah, I think Holland is always known as being, you know, the homeland for a lot of electronic music. You know, you have places like Rotterdam. I mean, again, that is the gabber scene and the hardcore techno stuff. But I think there's always a sense in Dutch music, or the electronic music that I know of, really high quality. You know, real high quality control. And I think that's also in your output as well. That's clear to see. How do you think that comes about? Like, why is that?
I would think it has something to do with the fact that as a country we have been doing well, you know, and there's a lot of richness going on amongst people, and it's, you know, you don't have to be a genius to figure out that having the finances to be able to invest in getting gear is needed, and I think that has something to do with it. And people just, I think when you're doing well in life and you have all the things you want and need, and you have time besides your job to invest in exploiting your hobbies, then these things happen. I think more likely than in other countries where people are struggling more, I guess. I think that's not completely true anymore, because nowadays it's coming from everywhere, and I think you can make incredible music with just a headphone and a laptop nowadays. People seem to get very creative, and software developers seem to get very creative, and I think that's an awesome thing, though. You know, you don't need a lot of stuff nowadays anymore to make something awesome.
Definitely, man. Absolutely. And I think I have noted that in researching some of your previous interviews. You've spoken to people about some of the gear that you used to have, and moving forward into like more software stuff. What were your kind of early formative years in making music? Like, when did you first start to enjoy making music?
I was always, it was my brother's couple years older. He's like 5 years older, and he kind of lead the way in the stuff he was listening to. That kind of took my interest, and I started noticing that. I think the first connection was also through him when he worked his ass off delivering newspapers for a couple of years, and then he bought. I think the first thing he bought was a couple of turntables, and then when he would go out, I would mess around with these turntables, and he always told me like, "Don't use them," and obviously I did, and I think that's how it started a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, and what was in his record collection? What were you mixing? What were you playing with?
it was a lot of hip hop orientated stuff. I think the first 7-inch single I bought was at a flea market. It was The Message from Grandmaster Flash, or is it Manimal?
I think it's Grandmaster Flash and the
Manimal.
Furious Five, possibly. I don't.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great, man. That's great. And you also mentioned in an interview somewhere that he had an Ensoniq sampler at one time, which he also told you not to play with, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's that. I think that's the first. I think we always had like an Atari computer running Cubase,
Oh, cool.
and then at a certain point he bought an Sonic sampler, and yeah, I started messing around with that. It was the same. It was the same thing. He would go out, and I would snuck into his room, and and at a certain point he let me though. He let me fuck around with it, and I think I picked up some Autechre when I was 13. I think the first track I heard was the artificial intelligence one, the on the red
Oh
double
yeah,
vinyl.
yeah. It's really great CGI album art on that one, right? Is that artificial
Yes,
intelligence?
yeah, yeah. And I think the track name is Kladder or Chatter, something like that. Blew my mind. And then I think at a certain point we found out that they used this Ensoniq sampler a lot in the early albums.
Was it
That
like
was
the
fun.
tabletop sampler? It's like the AS. Is it the ASX or something?
But I think it's something with 10 at the end,
Yeah, ASR10 or something.
something like that. Yeah, I think it had
ASR10.
like two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it had like two MBs of RAM.
amazing. And have you gone because using the Atari to make music nowadays is like it's kind of popular. It's back in fashion using Atari and Amiga. Have you ever gone back to those early hardware things and tried to make music in the modern era?
No, no,
I can
no. I
understand
like the
why.
convenience. Yeah, I like the convenience of modern developed software uh, because it becomes better. It sounds better. The approach makes more sense. I think it started with trackers though. Yeah, I think the Atari period came a bit later. I think it started with using trackers on Amiga, which was a lot of fun. For sure.
Hmm.
And then when you start to move to hardware, you just want to control them through MIDI. And then Cubase made a lot of sense. It was very. I was always amazed on how tight it was, on how tight everything stuck together, and how you can program it. And yeah, it was pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do remember visiting the studio of a dance act called K Class a long time ago, like in 2000. I was buying a sampler and it just so happened to be from this massive artist. And they had an Atari ST like syncing the entire studio, even in like 2005 or something. Yeah,
Mm,
amazing piece of kit. Yeah,
yeah,
so
sure. Yeah.
and you've made a lot of music with your brother. Did you in those early days were you working together, or did you have a plan to work together, or how did that end up coming about that you were making music with your brother?
Yeah, I think we had there was an overlap in what we liked because he was influencing me with the stuff he was listening to, and he allowed me at a certain point to fuck around with his gear, and there was an overlap in that we both liked what we were doing. In general, we always made most of the music we made it separate. So he made his tracks and I made mine, and it had a similar feel to it. But I'm pretty sure I think it's hearable to a certain degree. but we always just released it and just gave the idea that it was ours, because there was a strong sense of similarity in between the tracks. We did some stuff together though, sitting in the studio, but in general, it was always a separate process.
Mm.
Yeah.
And did you build a sort of a studio together? Did you have your own spaces to work in? Like, how did you develop from having the sampler to making tunes?
Yeah, I just started investing in gear at a certain point on my own, and we both had a studio uh, by ourselves. Yeah.
Nice, man. And what sort of, because the Sonic State audience are really into their gear and their synths and stuff. So yeah, what sort of things did you start off with making music? What sort of stuff were you buying?
I think I had a, was it the Kurzweil sampler? That's what I got in the early days. And I think I had a Nordlead synth.
Nice.
I had a Ensoniq, I think it was called the Fismo synth I had for a little while.
Physical modeling.
I, I
Fismo,
think the
yeah.
synth from, that could be, it could be, I'm not sure, but it's been a while. Um, yeah. Yeah, and of course you invest in speakers. I had some Tannoy speakers in the beginning. Yeah,
But
I
you,
had more.
yeah.
I had a Waldorf Wave microwave. Was it microwave? The blue one,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
was
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
nice. Yeah,
Amazing. That's a good collection. And yeah, so you've mentioned that you like producing in the box in like the modern age now. And yeah, your productions are fantastic, man. Like really, really
thank you,
incredible. Like we spoke
thank
about
you.
the quality of Dutch music, but yours is so incredibly consistent. And yeah, what sort of tools are you using to make music now?
The funny thing um, is that I was thinking about buying a synth like a year ago. I think it's even less, and because I wanted to have a hardware synth playing live, and I talked about this with my friends. We have a group of friends, got three buddies, and we see each other quite regularly. And they said like two of them they're into modular synthesis, so they have their own Eurorack stuff. So they advised me like go that route. You're gonna love it. And I was like, yeah, should I be doing that? I don't know. Um, but I started off like last year with buying like a Moog Model 32. It's like a small. It's a standalone synth, but you can also integrate it into a Eurorack system if you want to.
Hmm.
Um, and I used that for a couple months, I think 2 3 months. But then I got pretty tired of it quickly because it's pre-patched a certain way, and I was already thinking outside what was possible uh, with this Moog modder. It was nice though because it really was an eye opener again in using hardware and integrating it with software capabilities. And at a certain point, I sold uh, the MOOC again, and I started investing in modular synths and Eurorack modules. And yeah, I'm pretty. Uh, it's an addiction. It became an addiction, and I have a big, quite a nice Eurorack system again, and I'm combining that with Ableton, and I really love it. I really like it. It really opened up a new way of generating sound and making music, and I do love working. I worked inside software for years, and I really like that because you can take it with you everywhere, and you can always be creative at any given moment. And software development is insane. It's insane what you can do with a computer nowadays. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, it's restrictive in the sense that that are always behind a computer, and that at a certain point that's a little can hold you back a little bit. I like both ways for sure.
Yeah, and I think your music's so unique that you can kind of you can hear that it's not one thing or the other. You know, it's kind of a combinate that combination is really special that you managed to create. Why is it? What is it about Ableton that you love using? Like, what draws you to Ableton?
Yeah, you can sketch very quickly, and in a certain sense, it is like a modular system that everything is you can everything is patchable within itself, and the integration with Max for Live is amazing.
Yeah.
I really like it. And then now again the connection with Eurorack is also it's the implementation is very nicely done, and it works like a charm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And how are you connecting Ableton to modular? Like, what's interfacing between those two things?
it's like some expert sleeper modules,
Oh yeah.
which they can send. You can send CV signal from Ableton to your Eurorack, and you can send it back in again. Back in again.
So
Yeah, with CV.
super high fidelity, isn't it? The expert sleeper stuff.
Yes, yes, it does the job very well. Yeah.
Cool. And what modules do you have that are your sort of essential purchases that you have in your rig? Like, what sort of modules do you enjoy using?
Yeah, yeah. I really like the Pamela's Pro Workout,
Hmm.
which is a clock module with 8 different outputs. So I'll clock it from Ableton, and then you can send out all divisions and multiplications of that clock to other modules in your system. So it all is it's you can keep it in sync somewhere, but it's all and that's really nice. I really like that. I really like the one of the first oscillator modules I bought was the DPO from Make Noise, which is quite complicated in the beginning, what it can do and how complex sounds it can generate. And you have to able to you have to give it time to understand what it's doing. Take your time to find the sweet spots. Um, there's no rush in achieving something. The easy thing with working inside the box is that everything is polished out already, and you can have like result pretty quickly because of that. And now there's just more time needed to have something interesting. Uh, but because it's modular and it's like you patch it with one another. If you have something interesting and you patch it the right way, it's you have like a block of interesting material where you can work with. It's just another approach of making music. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
imagine the sort of creative freedom that you get with it. Have you tried Bitwig? Have you seen Bitwig and seen some of the things you can do in that?
I haven't. I have seen a lot of people talking about it. Also, people that I know, musicians moving from Ableton to Bitwig, and they say it's the shit. It's very good. But I haven't have a look at it myself.
It's kind of like Reactor and Max for Live inside the DAW. Like,
Right.
it's node based. You do all these node based. You have these objects and you stick them together and then you patch them. And yeah, it's kind of like a Max for Live, like an easier version of Max for Live and an easier version of Reactor. So yeah, it's super
Mhm.
fun, very modular.
What I dislike about Ableton is the way it approaches audio and what you can do with it. I used Pro Tools for years,
Hmm.
and I think Pro Tools is still the way it treats audio and the way you can manipulate it. Um, I think there's nothing like it. How Pro Tools does this, and Ableton is really lacking on that subject. Yeah.
Yeah, how did you find it? How do you find it for like tempo locked music in Pro Tools? Like, because you used it for many years, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was fine for me. I was used to it. You know,
Mm.
many people told me like, "Oh, are you using Pro Tools? What the fuck's going on?" But it was something you know, I did the conservatory, as a music study in the Netherlands, and it was all Macs with Pro Tools. And I just, you know, yeah, I was, I got used working with it, and it just stuck with me. I tried different DAWs along the years, but I would always come back to Pro Tools, because in the end, I think it really doesn't matter what you use. You have to create your own comfort with it, I guess, you know, and become comfortable. And yeah, it just gave me the quickest results, because I knew it inside out. And you know, all the live studios, if you want work in studios, or you and it's still in the mixing world, or in the making jingles for radio world, it's almost everywhere. It's Pro Tools, you know, it's the industry standard. So you know, it kind of gave me a lot of benefit in getting work. But yeah, I think it's the same thing as Pioneer being the standard for the DJ world. Pro Tools is the standard for manipulating audio, working with audio in studio.
Support us on Patreon and keep us doing what we do. There's exclusive content like gear previews and hidden gems from our extensive archives. We're now posting early access to some of our videos, as well as many with ad-free versions too. Enjoy the Sonic Talk, pre-show chats, and there's a growing library of sample instruments made with the free Decent Sampler with a redesigned interface from Venus Theory. You'll also get access to our Discord server and a private monthly hangout with the team. Head over to patreon.com/Sonic State to see the latest offers and explore our ever-expanding collection of Patreon-only content, and help keep what we do independent. And for those who'd rather support us on YouTube, we've added a new 16-bit tier which gives you early access to some videos and all of our Decent Sampler instruments. So just head over to YouTube and check out the membership offers there.
So yeah, you studied Sonology, according to my research.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about that. Like, yeah, when did you decide to do that, and what did you do on the course?
It was pretty abstract. I think I was in my early 20s, and I just I figured that I wanted to do something with music. And my parents, my mom really stimulated that. She said, like, you can do whatever you want. If you want to do that, go for it.
That's amazing.
Um, yeah, yeah, it is. Uh, I had a different vision of what it was before I started than when I was there. When I was there, I realized the first year at Sonology, I was like, "What, what the fuck is this? What do they want from me?" Um, they had big, massive analog studios. There was a lot of computer programming programs to make modules for Max MSP. The whole approach came from the early days of electronic music. So you would learn about analog synthesis. You would learn about what the a big thing was is that they taught me to, if you're going to make something, you're going to create something, think about it thoroughly, and the process towards the piece you're making is more important than the actual result. If your approach is well thought out, and yeah, then your approach is less interesting, it means that you have to adjust your approach to get a certain result. many of the music that was made was very, very abstract, very long pieces with blips and beeps. And if you have a long abstract piece, but you can have an amazing talk about it, that was more the thing that they wanted to see than. And to me, that was an eye opener, though. I really liked. In the beginning, I was like, you smoke a joint, and then you sit behind your computer, and then you just mess around until something nice comes out. But their approach was the opposite, and it helped me. It's really interesting. It changes the way you approach things and how you think. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think that's definitely evident in the music that you put out, and also in like your artwork as well. Is the process behind it is yeah, clearly something that takes time and care.
Thank you.
Yeah. So did you study that for 6 years? Is that correct?
I studied Sonology for 4 years. It was a 4-year course, and I graduated, and then I did an extra 2 years of a study. We call that a second phase study. So after your main study, you can attach 2 more years to go deeper into a certain subject, and it was music technology that was based in Hilversum,
Mm,
which was more it was more focused on a more modern day approach on abstract and electronic music, which gave me a little bit of a different insight than what was taught on Sonology.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the fusion in your music of you kind of have like frenetic, like frantic, like IDM stuff and really glitchy breaks, but also like beautiful ambient, spacey kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm interested to know where your creative styles sort of came from, and what were your influences to make this kind of music.
Um, yeah, my taste is very broad. I can really like different kinds of stuff, but I'm very picky what I like about certain genres. I've always, like I mentioned before, I really like when rhythms are broken, when they're pulled apart. I've always had that preference. Even like a 4/4 can be interesting as long as you mess around a little bit with the kick and the snare. Like I will always prefer like an electro beat. Even the snare is consistent. You can mess around with the kick and the bass. To me, that's way more vibey than any techno beat. I really I've always liked drum and bass because of that. It's like in a certain way, it has this a little bit this electro vibe, but because it's so much faster, this repeating pattern becomes more obvious, especially when you don't mess around with the kick and the snare. But just uh, really traditional drum and bass, where there's just a beat and a bass, and it's well mixed, and then you have some. I've always liked that. You have some atmosphere in the background. To me, that's way more trancey or techno-y than any techno or trance music. And then when dubstep came out, I really like. It has it has a lot of similarities, obviously, with drum and bass. But I like lazy rhythms. That's also has something to do with the fact that I smoked a lot of weed, I think. But I think you can hear that in a lot of rhythms on Funckarma and Roel Funcken. I like 100 BPMs. I think that's my go-to BPM because it's right there somewhere in the middle, between all tempos that are being used in dance music. Like 100 BPMs is it's yeah it's a category of its own.
Absolutely. A friend of mine, we were talking the other day about mixing like records, And you said you have quite an eclectic taste in records, and I guess when you used to play out, you'd play different genres. So, am I right in thinking you would have to remember the BPMs of your tracks? Because I was talking to a friend of mine who is drum and bass DJ, and I said, "Oh, did you have to remember all the BPMs?" And he was like, "No, because it's all drum and bass. It's all about 175." But I remember for my records, when you mention that 102 beats per minute, I instantly remember tracks that are around that tempo. Like Block Rockin' Beats by the Chemical Brothers is 105 BPM or thereabouts, or 108. And then like there's a Prodigy track called Molotov Bitch, and that's 102 beats per minute. So yeah, did you have that when you were mixing? You have to like remember the BPMs of the tunes that you're playing?
Yeah, when I started DJing with vinyl, and then I had this memory. Yeah, but I don't mix with vinyl anymore. I use when I do mix out, I'll use CDJs, or my preference is using Traktor, and then it's all the info is there. Obviously, you have to analyze your music very well. You can't rely on your software analyzing the music, because with the strange measure stuff, uh, Traktor will get it wrong quite a lot, and I think the CDJs even are worse. They're not trained to analyze strange measures properly. So they'll tell you it's like 88 BPM, but it's not. It's something else.
Yeah.
It's often it's a proportion of that,
Yeah, like a
And
third,
I
or
can.
yeah.
It happens in drum and bass a lot also. When there's this shuffle drum and bass, it's 172 in general, but then it says it's like 129, I think, like 2/3 of the tempo. That's hilarious, I think
Yeah,
that's really
you
funny.
struggle to mix that in. What sort of drum and bass artists? What sort of drum and bass artists were you listening to? What kind of stuff were you into?
Yeah, obviously, noisier. I really like Saber a lot. Um, Ivy Lab, which is a lot of crossover, dubstep and drum and bass.
Mm,
Um, what's the guy from the Alex Perez?
yeah,
I really like that. All this output from his label, like the 1985 output. It's really good.
yeah, he is
You have this
amazing.
guy. He's so clean. Everything's so clean and tight, and also the artist he puts out. There's a Dutch drum and bass guy. He's becoming very big. It's called Imanu. You
Hmm.
heard of that?
I haven't. No, I'll write it down.
He does a lot of. I think he's mainly known for his drum and bass output, but it has a lot of crossover to some housey stuff and even some pop music. But he comes from the. I think he's been recognized by the Noisia crew when I think this dude was like 16 years old, and the only thing he's doing right now is touring. He's touring all over the world all the time, especially his drum and bass things. It's wild how good it is, and how musical and well produced, and interesting.
Yeah, man, I'll check
Yeah.
it out for sure. Thank you. You also mentioned like the ability to use Pro Tools gave you the ability to work. So yeah, what sort of work have you done? I know you're at one time a sound engineer.
Yeah, I still am. I still work, make my money mainly as a sound engineer. But also, I do some teaching sometimes, and it's like teaching kids to how to work with Pro Tools, how to record like a live band. So how do you mic up a live situation? How do you uh, mix that, and how do you record that into a DAW, and in this case Pro Tools. I do some jingle work where where another guy makes the music, and then I get these files sent, and I'll have to mix it, and I'll do this. It's only mixing audio tracks, so I'll do this in Pro Tools.
That's great, man. So many different things within your skill set. If can we just go back to the when you studied sonology, because I forgot to ask you, like, what were your final projects that you worked on when you were studying, like, that you focused on?
Yeah, it's been a while, man. all this all the smoking weed in between is like I stopped smoking weed though for like I stopped drinking alcohol also for more than 2 years now.
Oh, well done.
Um, thanks. So my memory is getting better, but everything before that, it's like I think
uh,
I was high for 35 years.
yeah,
The
man.
weed's been good here. All the
It is. It's very good. I've been to Holland a few times. It is very good. It's also good in California too. It's crazy good in California. It's
yeah.
like medical shit.
I think it's even better now in the USA
Possibly.
how they yeah that's what the Americans do the best. They will when there's money they'll turn everything into a product and they approach it like pros. I think we are slacking a little bit here in how it's approached and how it's still kind of illegal but it's legal at the same time and there's like this gray area. It's weird and they do that differently over there. you
Yeah,
know
there's no, but yeah, we have a grey area in England too. It's like the police don't really stop anybody, which is cool.
right, as it should be. It's a fucking plant. It grows. It's a very tough plant. It will grow everywhere, anywhere. It doesn't need much, and it's what can you do about it.
Yeah, but well done for quitting or staying off it. I know that's difficult. That's a challenge for everybody, for all of us.
I think the alcohol part was more difficult. I was done with the weed because I wasn't enjoying it anymore. But the alcohol, because it's so integrated into society, that it's yeah, and the numbness, that alcohol gives you. We all like it, everybody drinks to a certain degree, and it's stupid. It's a stupid drug. You become an idiot. You know. It's a waste of your time, really.
I agree, man, and I'm in a minority because I'm pretty much a non-drinker nowadays. But it's kind of I raised money for charity by not drinking in 2018. I gave up alcohol for 2018 to raise money for a music charity. And after 2018, I'm like, I don't fucking need this. This is a waste of money. I'm like saying stupid shit in public and I'm, acting like an idiot. I'm being sick everywhere. I'm falling asleep in the bus. It's like, there's
Yeah.
nothing, but there's no good here.
Mm. And now it's I had to get used to the fact that your feelings are intense and they're there all the time and they're coming in and they're telling you shit and that's you have to get used to that again. And then you think that's weird, but it's the alcohol that's numbing that all the time, and you're not truly yourself when you're on alcohol. People think that they speak more easy, but I think I've been 2 years sober now, and I think it's the other way around. You're more yourself when you're sober and when you deal with your emotions when they uh, when they are there instead of delaying what you're feeling, or because that's what alcohol for a lot of people does. It's like they don't want to be in the moment, and then when they drink they don't care, and then it's fucking weird. It's a weird drug, man.
It is weird, man. I agree. I totally agree. And it's kind of, yeah, it does distract you from what's happening inside a little bit. It allows you to escape in some way.
Yeah, yeah. And that's, I think, to a certain degree, that's a good thing as long as you are in control. But that's the thing with alcohol; it's really addictive. So, and it becomes like so easy to think like, oh, I'm thirsty. There's a cold beer. Yeah, let's just do that instead of drinking water or tea or whatever.
Mm.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, well done for doing that, man. When you play out your music, do you ever take your modular rig as well? Because I should probably prefix that by saying there are so many amazing sets of yours on SoundCloud that are at festivals and different nights, sometimes 6-hour sets. There's so many amazing sets on your SoundCloud that, yeah, my friends and I have enjoyed for many, many years. Yeah, it'd be great to know when you play live, like what's the setup, and do you ever take your sort of modular stuff out?
So the modular thing is pretty recent. There wasn't any situations where I felt confident enough to do a live set with modular, but I think I'm getting there. Yeah, if I a lot of the stuff that's online on SoundCloud, it's more like a DJ approach. When there's other people's music involved, it's always like more of a DJ approach. Um, I have been playing live couple gigs the last couple months where I would play only my own music in Ableton, where it's cut up in chunks and layered, and then I'll use some MIDI controllers, add a lot of effects, and mix all these layers uh, with one another. Where, in my opinion and to my feeling, it feels very live to do so, because there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. It's only my own material. um, when I DJ, it's like it's mainly the tractor setup. But I think I'm ready now uh, to do a live set again, and then have some modular integrated with that again. Yeah, I think I had to build up some confidence uh, concerning that.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
know a few artists. For example, the Prodigy. Liam Howlett was recently pictured with a thing called the Metal Fetishist, which is this. It's kind of a little modular box. It's like a noise box, but he had it right on stage with him, like right in front of his rig, and it seemed like he was using it as like a sound thing in between tracks. And I think there are a few artists that do that kind of thing where they have hardware that's for maybe like transitional moments between stuff. But yeah, your music is incredible, man, and like so many people enjoy it. Do you play live? Do you play live very often, and where do you play?
I don't play live very often. I just mainly when I play live, it's like abroad. There's not a lot of. I'm not being asked that much in the Netherlands. There's for some reason I've been playing live a lot in the USA the last couple years.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I just it should be a good deal also. I'll be 50 this year, and I just everything should be well arranged if I uh, think I want to make the effort and come out. Can't end up sleeping like in a shed somewhere, freezing my ass off or whatever. I can't do that anymore. I'm getting
Yeah.
too old for that shit. There should be some money, There should be, yeah, and there
Absolutely.
should be, yeah, everything should be well arranged, and it's fun though. I always America is a strange country, but it has a very vibrant scene. There's a lot of people doing amazing festivals and doing music, and I've always have a good time in the USA.
Cool. So yeah, you spoke about your process earlier on, and about how you learnt to sort of value the process in generating artwork. And I thought it'd be really cool to talk about your paintings, because they're absolutely fantastic, man. And also the connection between your paintings and your music. Like, how do you see that creative output and that connection?
Yeah, it's yeah. To me, there's a lot of similarity between how you build a track and how you create art. It takes um, there's a lot of patience involved, and in general, I'm not good with patience, but it forces you to be patient. Otherwise, you rush into things and you can't turn them around. If you use like acrylics, it very much is the case. I fucked up a lot of paint, uh, which is hilarious because it's destructive as fuck. And with the digital approach, it kind of has, now that I think of it, it has making a painting the way I do it and making music with a modular system has a lot of similarities because in modular often the same thing happens. You have something amazing going on and you think like, oh, sounds amazing, and then you turn some knobs and then it's gone, and then you think like, oh, which knobs did I turn, and you try to go back to that state, but you can't. It's gone, and then with making music digitally, though, there's the forever undo process, which has its advantages but also its disadvantages. Coming back to the painting, just it teaches me to be patient and not rush into anything. If I rush, there will be happy accidents, but there will be more unhappy accidents, and I'll fucking hate myself for wasting canvases and paint again. So also, I think because becoming sober helped me in being patient because it helps, think think of what you want to do next, and think of how you are going to do that and how your approach should be instead of rushing it. And it really helps. It really helps keeping like a overview and delivering a piece that you're happy with. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, do you find also that when you fuck it up or when you make mistakes, like we all do, like everyone makes mistakes like a million times, like I sometimes see those as being helpful moments when you fuck things up because you learn such a strong lesson that you take forward this new viewpoint.
Yeah, I'm pretty harsh on myself. I became a little bit milder because I know that my brain works like that, but I only see what's not okay in the art piece or in the music. I can't listen or see the rest. I only focus on where I think it went wrong, and then I want to redo it. I want to do it again and fix that problem. Yeah, and I know it's like a mechanism of um, being better next time, but it's also a little mean towards myself. But I think just that's how, uh, yeah, my brain works.
Yeah, I think perhaps a lot of creative people do that. You often hear people say, "I can only hear the problems with that hit record that I had," or "I can only hear the bad mixing in that like iconic track." So I don't think you're alone there. I think many people are kind of self-critical,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
I also think that's a really good thing because it's clearly your quality control is super high. You know, you don't allow yourself to put out something that is below standard, and that's incredible because a lot of people do.
Hmm. Yeah, you put out stuff that you at a certain point you don't like it anymore, but it's a relative issue. I think that's the lesson you learn from it. Um, Often I think then I send the label tracks, and then at a certain point I want to know what the tracks they are liking, and then it takes a little bit of time, and then in the meantime you start to really like some tracks and you really start to dislike some tracks, and then you assume that the other person you're sharing this experience with has the same view on it, but they never do. They always, and that's kind of an eye opener. That kind of makes you think like, oh, it's all, it doesn't. It's all relative, um, and it's good to hear other people's opinion, so you can realize, that's the case, that it's all relative, and yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I should say your pictures are available for sale. You have a website which is Roel Funcken Paintings. where people can buy them, and I would urge them to check them out because they're absolutely amazing. You also released not too long ago a Data Curation 2 album, which was like collected works. Is that correct? How did you see it?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I do a subscription also on Bandcamp, where I put out a lot of tracks that when I finish making them, I'll load them up to my subscribers. And Curation 2, many of these tracks on Data Curation 2 are coming from this uh, subscription thingy on Bandcamp. Yeah, so they've been out for quite some time, but for a selective audience. Yeah.
It's a great collection, man. And I think you also, I joined in the listening party when you had that album out, and it was, yeah, it's really cool that Bandcamp are doing those kind of things where the artist can be in a chat room and explain some of the tracks, and you can hear people's responses to it. Yeah, how is that for you? How do you find the whole experience of putting out music and Bandcamp?
Yeah, it's nice. I think Bandcamp is the way to go still, when it comes to releasing digital music. Yeah, the listening parties are nice. I join a lot of them from other labels, and it's nice to have a chat with people that are there for the same reason, and you have something to talk about, and people seem to really listen. When they're there, and I think it's a great tool to share the music. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you've released solo albums yourself since 2010.
Yes, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What work are you most proud of, would you say? What brings you most joy when you listen back to it of your solo stuff?
Yeah, that's this thing that I do. I always I think the best stuff still needs to come out. So if I'm gonna be honest, I think the stuff that's about to come out is the work that I'm most proud of, because
Excellent.
I don't look back a lot. I don't listen a lot to my own stuff. Obviously, it happens sometimes, but um, I if I make something new, some tracks I'll listen to them like 100 times in a row. There's an album coming out on Science Cult Records.
Hmm.
That's an American label. I did a collaboration album with a musician from the Netherlands. He's called EXM.
Cool.
Um, that album will be out in May, double vinyl and digital. Uh, and I think that's some of the best stuff I did in years. If you haven't checked out his solo work, EXM, you should. It's amazing. It's very good. There is some. I did release a couple tracks with the modular stuff integrated on the subscription, and there will be some releases in the later on in the year, which it's the modular stuff. It kind of it is me, but it sounds different because the whole approach has been changed, which I really like. There's something fresh going on, I guess. Listening back to my own stuff.
That's cool.
So that's what's been going on, and that's the main thing that I'm focusing on right now.
Great. And how was that
Yeah.
collaborative process with EXM? Like, how did that? Yeah. How did you work on tracks together?
Separate. We just this whole approach of this album where was that he sent me parts of tracks from him that I reworked. We talked about also doing an approach in where we're gonna do it the other way around, but in general, I just he gave me material, and I was just going through this a bit quicker than him because we tried it the other way around, but he had other stuff going on, and I just it inspired me so much getting stuff from him that I pooped out these tracks very quickly. Yeah, yeah, and it's for me that's the main thing. I'm willingly to collaborate with anybody when the material is interesting to do so, and when it inspires me. That's always like the main thing for me, to do a remix or to do a collab. And with his stuff, it was like, it just, I think his stuff is amazing. So I think that's one of the reasons it came out very quickly.
Excellent, excellent. And where is he? Where is he based? EXM. Where is he from?
He's I think he's Dutch. I don't think he's Dutch, but I think he's from Den Bosch. It's a larger city for Dutch standards, somewhere in the middle of Holland.
Cool, man. Great. Well, yeah, I will link to that in the so people can find it when it gets released. I'll make sure we cover that. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm really impressed by your work, man. I'm just like, it was interesting to read some of your interviews where you said that you like to smoke weed, drink alcohol, and play PlayStation, because that is exactly what me and my friends do when we listen to your music.
Yeah, it's just playing PlayStation now and drinking orange soda. It kind of changed, but
Yeah.
yeah.
What games do you like playing? What do you like playing?
I've always had a fascination for horror games. Like
Nice.
the last thing I played is the remake of Silent Hill 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've always been fascinated by by the Silent Hill games. So I think the remake is very well done. It really captures the atmosphere again.
And good sound design, I guess, as well. It's like has to be part of it too, right?
Yeah, yeah. The music is really it's a Japanese composer that originally did the music. I think he also did it again for this game, and it really hauntingly, weirdly mechanical, which gives a really scary, eerie vibe.
Nice, man. And do you like horror films as well?
Yes, yeah, yep.
Excellent.
Always, already as a kid, I was drawn to uh, watch scary stuff. I think I watched Hellraiser with with a friend of mine, and we were 13. And I think I didn't sleep for like like a month. The guy, there's this guy with he's clapping his teeth. It's one of the demons, and he was standing beside my bed every time I was trying to fall asleep.
Yeah, like the
Um,
imagination when you're a kid is so strong, right? You can just you can just build up these monsters like instantly in your head. Yeah, I remember those days. Cool, man. Well, I just finally wanted to ask if you have any advice for anyone who's wants to make music or start making music, like or maybe what do you tell your students? What do you tell your students in as advice for making music or being creative? Like, yeah, how would you guide people?
yes, stick with what you think is nice, and uh, start with buying some good monitors and headphones. Invest a little bit in a DAW, so there's customer service, and there's everything's online, there's groups online where you can ask questions. Just fuck around, turn it on and fuck around, and and do your own thing. I've always done my own thing. I try to make more commercial stuff in the hope you can make a living out of it. But I also quickly realized that that's just not for me. I can't. Commercial stuff uh, has a it sounds simple, but because of its simplicity, it's also a procedure that's really hard to make because of that. You know because something sounds simple, it doesn't necessarily mean it's easy to make. It's just as difficult, and there's something going on in levels that you maybe don't comprehend at that time. So just stick with your own stuff, and focus on what you like and listen to the music you like and try to. There's nothing wrong with trying to integrate that in your own sounds because you'll never be able to copy it fully. You know, especially in the beginning, people said like that Funckarma stuff. It sounds like Autechre, and to a certain degree it kind of does a little bit, but it's a compliment, if you can copy something so well and good, but always try to, yeah, find your own twist within that and be happy with what you're doing.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it? Like if it's got to
Yeah,
be fun. But I think you do have
but
you. Sorry, go on.
it's got to be fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have such a unique presence online. Like if I think of all of the musicians and artists that I enjoy the music of, like the way that you put your stuff out and the range of music that you make, it's kind of it doesn't really. I can't think of any other artist who does what you do, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So
I just
yeah, go on.
I don't think about it that much. It feels very random in how I what I do and how I put it out. Yeah, there's not a it's not well thought out. It's pretty random, and you
I
can
th-
go on.
I think that's what makes it unique, man. Because some people, some artists have like a marketing team behind it, and they have like a campaign. And I think the way you put out your music and the way you conduct yourself online, it's like you bring in the right, the people who love your stuff from the way that you put it out, man.
Yeah, thank you. The IDM community is pretty small, so I've been around quite some time, and at a certain point, you just know everybody. And even around the world, it's like a couple thousand people that are into IDM. So you always, when you meet somebody, there's always some person in between that connects you with this other person. And I've been in a room with all the legends like Aphex Twin. I've played with Aphex Twin in the Netherlands, and we've played, me and my brother, we played with Autechre a couple times, and we hang out with them. We hang out with played, with Ad and Andy many
Yeah.
occasions, and they're really awesome. At a certain point, you just know everybody, and and you realize how small this community really is, and yeah, it makes it cozy or something, I guess.
That must have been amazing though when you played with those people with Aphex Twin and Autechre and Plaid. Yeah, how did that feel to be on the same lineup, to see your name in the same list?
Yeah, I think I had some. I became a bit too much of a fanboy when I met Aphex Twin. Um, but with all the other guys, they're so down to earth that it feels like their buddies and their friends, and they're nice, and then you just realize they're just guys like you and me. It's the same. And yeah, with Aphex Twin it was a little different. I was he was playing after us on a big festival in the Netherlands, and then I think we stopped playing, and I lit a pure joint on stage, and he walked by and he was like, "Hey, what is that you're smoking?" I said, "It's like haze, it's pure haze. You want a drag?" And he said, like, "Yeah, man, give me a drag." And then we just sit and we smoked a little bit, and then I couldn't help myself but to ask something about his music, and then he kind of backed out of the conversation,
Yeah,
because probably everybody asks him that. But yeah,
exactly,
it was nice.
exactly. I mean, we've all done that. I think everyone's done that in those situations. Yeah, it's like some of these people are hugely inspirational, like massive influences on us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think Autechre is still it's how it blew my mind when I was very young. I was like 13 or 14 when I heard this artificial intelligence track, just blew my mind. Like this, it sounded like nothing else before, and I think it's many of the work after that still the same. They're so unique in what they do and how it sounds and how they can let machines and computers work for them and create this unique sound. It's mind blowing. Yeah.
It is, and I think they're always pushing the boundaries, right? The boundaries always shifting with Autechre. They're never satisfied staying the same.
Mm-hmm. And they seem to make it look very easy, which is kind of annoying. Nobody has no clue on what they're doing and how they are doing it. I think it's a lot of Max MSP what they use, but yeah, it's all guessing to a certain point.
Yeah, there are some. I think there are some Max MSP patches which they shared, which is like how they make their music, but it's like spaghetti. It's crazy Max MSP.
Yeah,
It's just mad.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one thing I just thought of when you were talking. There was a visual artist that you were working with as well. Was there like someone who was doing live visuals for you?
Are you talking about Julius Horsthuis?
Yeah, it could be. I think you mentioned him on the live chat. You said, "Oh, check out this guy. He's been making visuals for my music."
It's probably Julius Horsthuis. Yeah, he's Dutch also. He does his speciality is doing visuals when with fractals. So it's
oh yeah, that was it. Yeah.
It's very nice what he does. I think he recently was playing in America at a Tipper festival.
Oh, cool. Tipper's amazing.
Which it was there's some footage around from him playing there, and the screen was massive. And I think my name was mentioned to him so many times at his trip in the USA that he came back, and then he contacted me. Like he's very picky in who he wants to work together with. So I was very honored. And I did a live show with him on the ADE festival.
Oh, nice.
In the Netherlands, which is this big techno festival. I still have a video of this gig of a couple tracks that I'm on the brink of putting it out. Whereas also there's a couple tracks on unheard tracks in there of the new album with EXM. But yeah, his stuff is amazing. It's like it's another world.
That's cool, man. Have you ever been to Superbooth? Just out of interest, I know you mentioned ADE. Have you been to Superbooth in Berlin?
I haven't.
Oh, it's fun. Really fun event. Much smaller than I think ADE is massive, right? It's a huge event.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, and it's a lot of techno.
Will you go this year? Will you be at ADE this year?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I'll be around, or maybe work, or hopefully playing some gig. But yeah.
Excellent. Well,
maybe.
Yeah, thank you for speaking to us today, man. It's been amazing. Love your output. Keep doing what you do. We're huge fans and really appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
What a great chap. Roel Funcken, just one of the most unique people out there, I think. The way he puts out his music, and as I mentioned, the quality control of what he does is second to none. I've got a huge respect for him. I actually own some of his artwork myself. I've bought it. I bought original pieces and prints of it. I love it that much. I implore you to go and check out his music. Go to the Soundcloud. You'll find so many mixes that are up there. If you want IDM, if you want ambient music, many of them are free to download as well. And go and check out the paintings. I did post a story on them on Sonic State a few months ago. They are phenomenal. I absolutely love them. I'm a huge fan. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I'm going to recommend an episode from the first series of Midierror Meets, and this one is with Fatboy Slim, one of my all-time heroes. I went to his house, interviewed him, and we covered loads of things about his career that perhaps have not been covered in the press before. So go and check that one out from the first series. Thank you very much for listening. Keep it locked on Sonic State. Remember, you can support us on Patreon, and we'll see you again soon.